Good evening, students. We are studying the theme of Pride and Prejudice. Earlier in the previous video also I have given you one of the answers, that the possible answers on the theme of Pride and Prejudice. And in this video also we will study the same theme again in a different way. Now, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice raises important moral issues concerned with the central theme of the novel, mainly the institution of marriage and other important aspects associated with the institution of marriage. The first point in this is the most important theme was how much money is necessary for a happy and successful marriage. This theme is brought out by the character Elizabeth when she speaks to her aunt. Pray, my dear aunt, what is the difference in matrimonial affairs between the mercenary and the prudent motive? So, what is the difference? The money. Where does discretion end and avarice begins? So, this is a statement given by Elizabeth, and she brings out one of the theme through this statement of the novel. In the chapter 1333, Colonel Fitzwilliam, the youngest son of an earl and obviously a very rich man, hints to Elizabeth that he cannot marry Elizabeth. Why? The reason he states is, our habits of expense make us too dependent, and they are not many in my rank of life who can afford to marry without having some attention to my money. So he thinks that people are around him because of money, and Elizabeth and both of them do not share equal status, so both of them cannot get married. Was he being very prudent in speaking like this, or avaricious in not marrying Elizabeth? Jane Austen leaves it to the readers to decide. On the contrary, Darcy, he is also a very rich man, and first he dislikes Elizabeth simply because he is a kind of, on the surface he is a kind of haughty man, and but later on, seeing the character and the nature of Elizabeth, he overlooks the impoverished or the bad financial status and goes out of the way to help Elizabeth and her family. He ensures that Wickhams marry Lydia. Both of them had eloped, and this has brought a very much dishonor to the family, but he settles their marriage. His love for Elizabeth compels him to bribe Wickham, his worst enemy. Though he is his worst enemy, but he waves off all his debt and he bribes him to get married to Lydia, so that the family honor is restored to some extent. This clearly establishes that he is a very noble and generous person, and Elizabeth accepts his proposal the second time. First time she rejects his proposal because she is influenced by Wickham, that Darcy is a very haughty man and he is very proud and he has thrown him out of the father's property. But coming to know the reality, she accepts the proposal on the second time. The another theme is the contrasting lifestyle of different social groups that is shown in the novel, such as in represented by Darcy. Darcy is a man rich by heritage, and whereas if we see the Bingleys, they are the newly rich trading class people, and they are represented, the newly rich people are represented by the Bingleys and their behavior. So the Bingley sister, she is a very haughty kind of a person, she is very arrogant, and she sees that when Jane is coming close to Bingley, she sees that she is coming close to Bingley for money. So there is a difference between the behavior of Darcy, who is rich by heritage, and the Bingleys, who are newly rich kind of a people. The social class to which the character belongs was an important consideration in matter of love, romance and marriage at that time. At that time, the ownership of land and not money was the single most important criteria for determining the social status of a person. Lady Catherine who is a very rich lady. She is very arrogant of her heritage, of her money. She tries to dissuade Elizabeth from marrying Darcy. When she comes to know that Elizabeth and Darcy may get married, she comes and warns Elizabeth to stay away from Darcy. And because she is poorer than him, and then Elizabeth replies her, I am marrying your nephew. I should not consider myself quitting that sphere. He is a gentleman. I am a gentleman's daughter. So far we are equal. So, in this statement, Elizabeth shuns off the pride of Lady Catherine about social status being determined by financial security, by finances, and by land heritage. Then the next theme is romantic love, that unites all the incidents and the characters in Pride and Prejudice. There is nothing romantic about Jane's treatment of romantic love in the novel. Romantic love is checked and controlled by incomes and financial freedoms of the partners involved. In the first part, we see that the romantic love is checked by only the finances and the incomes. In this manner, Jane Austen is able to blend romance and realism. For example, Lydia elopes with Wickham, thinking that he is in love with her and that she is also in love with him. But the marriage is settled by Darcy through bribery and through getting him some money, getting Wickham waived off all the debts. The restraining power of money on romantic love is spelled out very nicely in this novel. When Elizabeth replies to her auntie's query, her auntie is relieved to know that Elizabeth is not in love with Wickham, who has virtually no income at all and is only employed temporarily in the militia. So here also we see that her aunt is very curious that Elizabeth may not fall in love with Wickham because he is practically not having any good fortune. The fourth theme is the most important and harsh reality of a bleak future for a dependent, unviewed old woman. The fourth theme is the future security that women had to seek through marriage in that time. So the people, the women mainly married for having a secured future and for having a secured old age. Here we see in the novel that Charlotte gets married to Colin just for a secured future and for a secured, financially secured future and for a secured old age. The Charlotte Lucas brothers are relieved that she is going to get married to Collins, but they think that if she did not marry, otherwise they would have to look after her in her old age, and the boys are relieved from the apprehension that Charlotte may die as a spinster. So here the fourth theme that is seen is the future security or the financial security that the women of that time seek through marriage. So students, this was the treatment of the themes of Pride and Prejudice, and I hope you like the content, and the source of the content is eNotes. Thank you.